Hey, there are secrets to selling real estate that the big brands are not telling you, and the mega agents are not telling you either. They're not saying them out loud. It's stuff I really wish I'd have known when I first began to sell real estate and help buyers and sellers buy and sell. And so if you feel like you're missing something from your real estate practice, you probably are. Let's get right into it. There's a reason why, like no matter how hard you work, things still feel harder than they should. So I want to unpack three shifts, right, in what's going on that no one's talking about. Let's go right into it. The first shift is you need to pivot to working with older buyers. And I mean first-time home buyers, right? The average age, get this, the average age of the average first-time home buyers today is 38 years old. 38, right? My parents, when they first bought their house, they had, gone to college, met in college, got married right out of college, and bought a house from my grandparents and literally lived right next door to my grandparents in a almost the exact replica of the house they lived in. They bought it from them. It's a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house, a little over 1,000 square feet, maybe on a good day. And that was the house I lived in for a couple of years at age 21, 22, 23. And then they built what turned out to be the house we as 4 kids, I'm the oldest, grew up in. And so they started their home buying process, at very early 20s. That's not happening anymore, right? That 38 is not just a number. It tells a story. It says a couple things. The first one is buyers are delaying, right? Because the rules have changed. What they think they knew about real estate and buying real estate isn't true anymore, or at least they think it may not be true. Like they're asking themselves, is this the right move right now? What am I actually signing up for in this home buying process? Is this agent like on my side, or is he or she just looking to make a commission because there's a BMW payment due in 3 weeks and they've got to have some money, right? So here's the real question. Is the messaging, right, your offer to your clients, your buyers and sellers, especially buyers in this older first-time home buyer example, is this process built for today's kind of buyer? Because if it's still built for buyers in the way they bought homes 10 years ago, that's exactly why it's not converting these days and things are feeling extra hard. This is the time to adjust. Shift number 2, this AI thing, right? It's bigger than just real estate, right? It's about how we function in a world driven now and really led by AI with constant speed, right? Everything just seems really fast, as it does to me. The truth is, our brains aren't really built for this type of speed in terms of the changes that are going on, right? You've probably felt it. You felt the pressure to be everywhere, to do everything, right? And to master every new system that seems to be out there with the next great way to build a real estate practice and make lots of money and have a really successful career in brokering real estate. I just listened to a podcast this week by a very successful real estate pro, and I like a lot of his messaging. I was confused about this one because he talked about having 14 systems required these days to be firing on all cylinders to be succeeding in real estate. I don't know about you. I don't know anybody crushing 14 systems at once. These days especially, definitely not without a team of 10, right? And so, like, what's the answer to have versus mastering 14 systems at once? You got to stop trying to do everything at once, right? And start getting crystal clear about the one thing that actually moves the real estate needle in building your business. I say it all the time. You can be anything you want to be, but you can't be everything you want to be. Trying to chase every trend that is a fast track to burnout. Been there, right? And I got to fight it every day. It's really true. Maybe you're feeling something similar, right? Instead, let's zoom in, right? Let's simplify and let's build the systems that are right to fit your capacity right now and the audience you've got in your building right now, right? So let's talk about how to do that. Let's find a way to fast track having to master 14 systems. Immediately adapt to a brand new system of talking to buyers and sellers, especially buyers who are asking way different questions these days, right? And let's come up with something remarkable. Let's come up with what we call a talk trigger, right? Let's face it, real estate can be a pretty unremarkable industry, right? Not because the people aren't amazing, but because on the surface, we pretty much all look the same, right? Same promises, same awesome service guarantee, same photos, same staging, same I care about you and your family messaging, all true, right? Yet it is all pretty much the same. Here's the truth. If you want to stand out, you've got to give people a reason to remember you, right? Something that makes them say, wow, I didn't know you did that, or I wasn't expecting that during the transaction. Let me give you a couple examples. First one is be talked about differently, right? This is where positioning and messaging comes in. Make sure you don't sound like every other real estate professional out there. Right? Here's the truth. If you want to stand out, you got to give people a reason to remember you. Something that makes them say, wow, I just didn't know that you did that, right? Or I certainly didn't expect that within working with you to get my house listed and sold. That was special, right? I want to give them a reason to say something like that to as many people as are in their Instagram database, Facebook, Twitter, right? Want them to talk about us at a level that's only going on with I dare say the chosen few, right? How do we do that? Let's get creative, right? Think about 2 examples. Think about if you've ever been to the DoubleTree Hotel, right? DoubleTree Hotel is fine. Nothing about the stay is wildly out of the ordinary. But one thing to do is really specific and kind of remarkable. It's become a talk trigger for them. Is they give you, as you show up, as who are you, likely a pretty weary, long, all-day traveler, right? They recognize this. You get into your room, you're looking for your credit card, you get signed up, and and it's been a day, right? So they hand you, if you haven't been there a lot, unexpectedly, a really piping hot, delicious, really kind of gigantic, moist and chewy chocolate chip cookie. They reach back, grab it out of the mini oven they have behind the desk, and they hand you this cookie. And it smells amazing. And for the weary traveler that is likely you after a long day at airports and planes and in the backs of Ubers and maybe some conferences, you could really use a break and really use someone to give you something to take your mind off of how the day went and just enjoy a cookie, right? Like a kid, right? So that's become their talk trigger. Giving you a chocolate chip cookie at check-in has become their trigger. People talk about it. Doesn't make the stay any more amazing than they'd like to make it. It makes people talk about the experience because it's unexpected. And the second one is this company called Chewy, right? They're the pet brand that we buy from. Many of us buy from. They deliver to your door. The bags are gigantic of dog food, and it's really priced, and they do a good job. What they also do is that if when your pet unfortunately passes away, they do a couple of things. They will send you a handwritten card to your dog, or actually to you about your dog, and many times they'll actually send you a hand-painted portrait of your dog or cat at their best, right? As a keepsake, as something put on a wall to remember. Our dog's name is Spot by if he eventually passes away, which he will. It's a sad time. They know it's coming. They are prepared for it, and they hit you with a handwritten card and this painting, also hand done, to show that they really, really care. Oh, no, by the way, if you try to send back the dog food, they'll refund you, but they'll also tell you to keep it and give it to the local pound, right, the SPCA. So they don't even want the money. They give you the money back, but say donate the food. That's what Spot would have wanted. And it's just a great time to show that they care at a time when many families are really grieving. Pets are people too. So 2 examples of talk triggers, right? If you work with us in building a business worth owning, a real estate brokerage business worth owning, a real estate team, or even if you work by yourself, if you work with us, I've got a list of these talk trigger type concepts, these talk trigger remarkable strategies. Some are about service, some are about business category. Each one of them focuses on building out for you with your superpowers, your strengths, to build a talk trigger that will cause clients to talk about the experience you gave them at a very high level. And so here's the bottom line, right? If you're feeling like you're doing all the right things, but just not seeing the results, it's not because you're not working hard enough. It's because you're following rules that don't apply anymore. It's like that buyer who's like, how does this work? What if I get transferred out from my job and I got to sell the house in a couple of years? How does this work? It's not because you're not working hard enough, right? It's because you're following rules that just don't apply anymore, right? You need to speak to today's skeptical buyers much differently. They're a delayed buyer for the reason they've got a trust gap. They don't know if you've got their best interest in mind or you're just looking to make a commission, right? They don't know if home ownership is for them now or really anytime. There's some great options to rent. There are great options to rent everything in the house, borrow, exchange things, right? So many people, there's a trend to not buy a single thing. The renting mantra strategy is out there. People are choosing it. We need to help them understand that some of the benefits of buying a house show up later, and they're huge. We've got to have a different message for our buyers. You need to simplify in a world that just wants to be super complex, right? And really fast. You've got to be able to slow it down, simplify, and have a talk trigger that's special and that they'll remember you by as you give them amazing service that others also give. And you got to give them a reason to remember you, right? You don't need to do a perfect job. You got to do a remarkable job. And we'll help you do that if you wind up working with us in some of our courses. So, hey, click on the bottom of the video here. Subscribe to our channel. We're building something special, and I'd love to have you be part and have it pop up when we turn something else new out. And let me know if you've got some of those buyers, or maybe even just one buyer who's like, yeah, they should buy this house. He or she should buy this house, and they're just not. And I don't know what's going on. It's almost like they don't trust me. That may be true, right? Need a different message, and we help you craft that message here with a talk trigger to get to remarkable. Thanks again for listening. Hope you're well. See you soon.